MMA fans love to discuss which nation is the greatest in UFC history. America produced superstars. Brazil produced legends. Russia produced monsters. But today, we talk about the greatest one of them all, Australia, a nation that's known for many things, including Steve Irwin, the Holden Commodore, and the Tafa brothers, to name a few. When you look at what Australia has, with names like UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski, UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, UFC welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena, and of course, UFC men's atomweight champion Bedtime MMA. I believe we are the greatest nation in the UFC. What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here as the biggest Aussie casual on YouTube and the leading voice on this topic to rank honestly, I'm going to rank every single Australian and New Zealand fighter in the UFC right now. When I say honestly, I'm not going to be putting every single one of them in the S tier. I have know people that know some of these guys. I do not want to be flying need out cold. This is my honest, objective rankings. If they're up in the A and the S tier, I believe they are elite. If they're in the B tier and the C tier, I think they're pretty good to like decent. And if they're in the D tier, they're not bad. Okay, again, I do not want to be flying need out cold or fucking knocked out walking down the street, but they are not of the level of the other guys on the tier list. That's just what it is. All right, dude, let's get into this. We got a lot of fucking names to discuss. Let's start off with a legend of the game, dude. Okay, Bobby Knuckles is going in the fucking A tier. Bobby Knuckles, former UFC champion. I still believe that he can beat a lot of the top 15 middleweights. I don't think he's getting back to the belt. I love Robert Whittaker. I hope this doesn't ruin my chances of ever getting an interview with him or whatever it is, but I'm just going to be real, dude. Like, I think Robert Whittaker is still really, really good, but I put him in the same boat as Adesanya, where do I think I'd pick like Bruno Ferreira to beat him or some shit like that? Absolutely fucking not. But do I think that there's guys like coming up now that have a way better chance of getting to the belt? Yes, like Anthony Hernandez and all those type of guys. That's my honest assessment. Rob Whittaker's still really good striking, very good wrestler. That's probably one of the most underrated parts of his game, is just how good he is at actually wrestling. Very solid takedown defense as well. The chin is always a little bit of a question mark, but he doesn't really hit that hard either, but he's super accurate. He's got a really clean jab. He's got the bloody 1-2 head kick that he fucking whips up like he used to do when we were training back in the day. You got to put fucking Bobby Knuckles in the A tier bare minimum. All right, dude. Next one to discuss. This is another kind of prominent Australian MMA fighter. I will be doing Kiwi fighters as well in this video, but I'm going to throw Jimmy the fucking Brute Crute in the C tier. Okay, he's not D tier. Like, he's not the worst of the worst. I think he beats a lot of the blobs in the light heavyweight division. I think he can be ranked in that bottom half of the top 15, but I don't think he's like a top 10 level light heavyweight. I don't think he's fighting for the belt. I don't think he's going to be like in that top 5, top 6 type of ranking, but I think he can be number 13, number 14 in the division. Really good grappling, big power on the feet, pretty tough, like a bit of a fucking blockhead as well. Active, I like to see that. And he's made some improvements from a couple of his losses back in the day, and he already has some decent wins on his resume. So all things considered, you are at light heavyweight. That's going to dock you some points in terms of how skillful I think you are. But also, that's a good thing, because I think you have a better chance of being ranked than if you're at like welterweight or fucking lightweight or something like that. So for me, right now, Jimmy Crute is like a C tier, dude. He's pretty good. He's decent. But you know, he's not up in that category with Rob Whittaker, man. All right. Now this next one, dude. Listen, man. No laughing aloud, guys. All right. We are Tuivasa. I'm putting Tuivasa in the C tier. I know you thought I was gonna put him in the fucking D tier. I know you did. But Tuivasa beats blobs, bro. Let's keep it a buck, dude. Is he good enough to be ranked right now? Absolutely not, dude. Okay? He lost to Marcin Tybura by round 1 submission. That's a fraud check of the fucking highest order. But I feel like there's a lot of bums at heavyweight that Tai Tuivasa would absolutely smoke, dude. I don't think he's going to beat Talison Teixeira. I'm going to say that again. I would love to be wrong. I don't care if Tuivasa does a shoey and throws his fucking shoe at me in the crowd and fucking calls me in and chins me. Like, I'm happy to be wrong, dude. I'm happy to be wrong. But, you know, I think Taliesin Teixeira is going to slime him, dude. But that being said, Taliesin Teixeira is decent. He's a scary prospect. I picked him to beat Derek Lewis. He got fluked by Lewis. It is what it is. Taliesin Teixeira is not bad either. He's a decently athletic, big, scary heavyweight. So I don't rate Tuivasa that low just because I think, you know, losing to Volkov's not that bad. Rosenstrike's not that bad. You know, Taliesin Teixeira is not that bad. I just don't think that Tuivasa is like ranked material, but I also think he beats a lot of the unranked blob heavyweights. So I'm putting him in C tier. Like, he's decent, but he's not like a ranked top 15, top 10, you know, serious heavyweight contender. Okay, dude, that to me, I think is pretty fair. Next one that we've got on the list, I'm throwing myself in the B tier. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to put myself in the B tier. I do have some decent wins over Matt Schnell and Ode Osborne in my career. David Dvorak, a very underrated win by me on short notice. But I did get slimed by Kai Kara-France. So that kind of, I think that's a big old fucking B tier, dude. You know, Erceg, he doesn't really have the power. He's a technically clean striker. His losses are not bad at all. He's a very good grappler, good scrambler. Chin is a little bit sus. I am worried about that, but Steve Erceg's well-rounded. He is a flyweight, so he is skillful. People love him. They got behind him when he was fighting Pantoja for the belt, and he did fucking really well against Pantoja. I think people fucking forget, man. This guy put up a pretty good performance against Pantoja on a pretty quick turnaround from his Matt Schnell fight. So I think when you look at the big picture here, I'm not going to say all things considered 50 times like I did in my fucking pay-per-view tier list. I think Steve Erceg's a B tier. I think that is I think he would give himself a B tier. My humble goat, Steve Erceg, who is a fan of the channel, by the way. Shout out to Steve Erceg, legend of the game. We're going to be throwing him in the B tier. Now, this next guy, dude, it fucking hurts to put these guys in the Aussie fucking tier list, but, you know, no one out there is making a Kiwi tier list, so we're going to add some New Zealand guys and some CKB guys. I'm going to put Carlos Fraudberg in the A tier, dude. I'm not a fan of this guy, but I have to be objective and say he is a top light heavyweight contender. It's Ankalaev, it's Yuri, it's Ulberg. Those are the top three guys coming for the belt. I'm not making a video about Alex Pereira, Tracy Cortez. I've got a lot of requests for that. All I'm gonna say is, listen, dude, it's part of the fucking storyline, okay? How am I feeling? I'm glad you asked, dude. My weekend's fucking ruined, dude. But, you know, it is what it is, dude. I got knocked. I'm gonna get my reboot card, and I'm gonna fucking bounce back, dude. It is what it is, dude. But, off topic completely. Carlos Ulberg, very good counter striker. Bit of a prime Izzy run happening right now. Point fighting. You know, nasty fluke KO over Dominic Reyes, but the rest are just split decisions, 29-28s, leg kicking at range. He's very good at managing distance. He's fixed his gas tank issues that we saw against Kennedy and Zechiku. He's very smart, very high fight IQ, good counter striking. That step back check hook is always going to be dangerous. I think when you're honestly assessing Carlos Ulberg, he has good takedown defense, good counter striking. He is a very similar fighter to Israel Adesanya. And I think that he has just a little bit more one-shot KO power. So he's very good. He's fucking talented. I think he's borderline S tier. He would become S tier if he won a belt. I think that would put him in the S tier for me, or if he beat like an Ankalaev or a Yuri or something like that. But as it stands right now, I'm going to put him on the A tier, and he's on the way up. So shout out to Carlos Fraudberg. This kid, you know, we got to be honest. We'll put the kid in A tier, all right? Now, this next guy, though, you're fucking lucky I'm feeling nice today, dude. You're fucking lucky I'm in a nice mood. I'm in a jolly fucking mood. It's New Year's. I'm happy. You know, you're lucky that I'm in a good fucking mood. Because on a bad day, I'd be putting this little elf on the shelf in fucking D tier. Okay? I'm going to be as nice as I can to Kai Kara-France. And I don't even know why I have like this burning passion in my soul against Kai Kara-France. I don't know whether it's he knocked out Steve Erceg or what it is. But I'm going to put Kai Kara-France in the B tier. He's ranked. He's retiring from the UFC for a year and coming back. Bro basically pulled the rankings version of like, yo, I'm deleting my Instagram. No one hit me up. Like, I promise you, no one in 2 months is going to be like, damn, I miss having Kai Kara-France around, bro. Dude, I wonder what Kai Kara-France is doing right now. I promise you, nobody's saying that shit, bro. So if you're doing this, like, Kai Kara-France seems like the type of guy, he sent that text of like, guys, I'm retiring for a year. And then he just kept checking his phone like every 10 seconds after to see the messages. Like he probably put it in the CKB group chat, and Izzy just liked that shit. Like, no, like you just liked that shit and didn't even reply. Just that someone immediately after, yo, what are we doing at training today? Like, that's the type of vibe I get from this Kai France retirement. But when we're talking straight skills, very good takedown defense, big power for a flyweight, solid boxing, good leg kicks, you know, very good chin as well. Kai France, he's super well-rounded. I think he's a solid 5 or 6 ranked guy in the flyweight division. He's always going to be competitive with these top-level guys, even if he doesn't beat them. And I think he does fraud check a lot of flyweights coming up. So Kai France, all jokes aside, I'm going to give this dude his respect. I'm going to put him in the B tier. All right, man. This is the part of the video where I have to really stress, like, the D tier does not mean you're bad. And if you see me in person and you are on this tier list, please don't take this personally and chin me out cold, okay? Junior Tafa, bro, I almost want to put him in S tier just to be safe, but I have to just be objective. You lost to Taco Tacos. Dude, I'm sorry. If I'm ranking UFC fighters, I have to put Junior Tafa in the D tier. This guy has just no takedown defense at all. Like, even in the fights where I'm like, okay, this is the one where he's going to show the improvements. And it's really frustrating too, because not a lot of other MMA YouTubers will say this, but I will say this. I had a lot of high expectations for Junior Tafa. I remember making videos saying he will be ranked. He is way better than Justin Tafa. And I think that Junior Tafa is actually a good kickboxer. He hits hard. He rocks basically every single person that he fights. Even if he loses, he does rock them. He does, you know, hurt them on the feet. They don't want to strike with him because they know how dangerous he is. It's not just power. He's had kickboxing fights in the past. He's a sharp, accurate striker. He's got really nasty leg kicks. I think Junior Tafa has a lot of potential to be really good, but I'm just being real. Like, his takedown defense is just not good. In the UFC, there's not a single light heavyweight that I'm like, because if there was gonna be a fight, like, you gotta understand, I literally picked this guy to beat Taco Tucos, dude. Are you kidding me, dude? If there's any fight that I'm like, all right, this is the one where you win, it's fucking Taco Tacos. And you can't even beat Taco Tacos. Like, I'm sorry, dude. It's fucking annoying, bro. Because I'm trying to be a Tafa fan, but you're not making it easy. So I'm hoping that I don't even know who the fuck he's fighting in at 325. I'm going to be rooting for Junior Tafa. I'm hoping that he bounces back with a win. But I have to be objective. He's D tier. All right, man. Let's move on to the next candidate in this video. Listen, bro. Dan Hooker's just a big fucking B tier, bro. Like, that's just what it is. I think he beats these bummy, kind of low-ranked lightweights. I think that a guy that doesn't have any power, that doesn't have any super high athleticism, is not beating Dan Hooker. Like, Mateus Gamrot, I love Gamrot. That's the best possible top 5 opponent he could have ever gotten. And he barely won that shit, and I think Gamrot won that fight. And again, I'm a fan of basically every single person on this tier list. This is hard for me to be completely objective and just not glaze them and just say it like it is. But, dude, Dan Hooker has very solid takedown defense. His guillotine game is nasty, and I don't dock him points for losing to Arman Tsarukyan, because Arman Tsarukyan, in my opinion, is the second best lightweight on the planet right now behind Ilia Topuria. He's really fucking good. Okay, and Dan Hooker, there's no shame in losing to him. But at the same time, am I seriously expected to put this guy on the same level of fighter as Robert Whittaker? I just can't, bro. Robert Whittaker is elite. Robert Whittaker was a championship level fighter. Robert Whittaker has this skill set and the game to where I believe there's guys in the top 15. Robert Whittaker would literally school them, like straight up school them. Dan Hooker goes to war with people and, you know, wins the war with them if he can survive, right? But there's a lot of, like, nuances to the game of these guys in the A tier that Dan Hooker just does not have. And I don't even think Dan Hooker would disagree with me on this. He's a humble, real dude. I'm a big fan of Dan Hooker. I think he would agree he's fucking B tier, bro. Like, he's not fighting for the belt. He's not a top 5 level lightweight. He's a solid top 10, scary, damage-inducing, entertaining lightweight. That's what he is, dude. That's it. And he's not beating Benoit. So I hope he beats BSD. You guys know I fucking hate BSD. But that's my honest, solid assessment of Dan Hooker. I'm putting him in the B tier. Let's move on, man, because this is something that I'm very excited to talk about, dude. All right, man. Fucking JDM's going in the S tier. Come on, dude. Tell me I'm wrong. JDM is like the greatest fucking Australian welterweight of all time. He's the fucking man. JDM's bouncing back from this loss to Islam Makhachev. He's not even 30 years old. He's got elite level striking. Nobody wants to strike with him. He can outbox anybody in the welterweight division. I truly believe that, bro. Okay? Needs to work on the takedown defense, but he can scramble. He can defend takedowns from guys that aren't Islam Makhachev. And he does damage. And he has insanely slick counters, footwork, switches stances, makes really nice reads, touches the body a lot. That's not something you see a lot in the UFC, in MMA in general, is very high-level body work, and that is what JDM provides. There's so many nuances to his game that I absolutely fucking love, dude. The creativity when he fights, the step back, switching of angles, the way he cuts people off with his footwork, the way that, you know, most people start behind a jab. JDM starts from the rear side. He'll switch stances, move his head on the outside. Just every single nuance of this dude's game is fucking generational. No glaze. JDM is my favorite fighter in the UFC. He's unbiasedly an S-tier Australian New Zealand fighter as well. He is in his fucking prime right now, and I genuinely believe he's actually getting better. So he might not even be in his prime right now, and he's already been on an 18-fight win streak and got the belt. So JDM, you can say whatever the fuck you want, bro. My GOAT is S tier. Easily. No I would literally say this if this shirt was not up on the wall right now. I would literally say this. If I was from Dagestan, Russia, I would say this. So, bro, I'm putting JDM S tier easily, all right, man? Now, I'm going to shoot you straight, boys, all right? The rest of these guys, there's a couple of ranked names. There's a couple of prospects. And obviously, there's Volkanovski that we'll talk about later. I'm going to run through a couple of these guys a little bit quickly because I don't think anybody needs a 5-minute breakdown on fucking... Jacob Malkoun, but let's get into this dude. Tom Nolan, I'm putting him B tier, bro. I'm putting Tom Nolan in the B tier. I believe this guy has potential to be ranked, and I rate him higher skill-wise than Jimmy Crute and Tai Tuivasa. That's what it comes down to. Tom Nolan is a huge lightweight with a very nasty striking game. Elite with the elbows, spinning elbows, really good frame for kicks, solid grappling as well. He has good takedown defense, but he also has no problem working off his back with nasty up kicks. He can grapple offensively as well. We saw him get a submission in his last fight against Charlie Campbell. Tom Nolan, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC. I really believe that this guy will be ranked in the lightweight division. I hopped off the train for a little bit because he got fluked in his debut by Nicholas Motta, but I'm back on the fucking train. Big Train's winning the fucking belt, mate. There's nothing else to say. We're throwing Tom Nolan in the B tier, dude. And that is high praise. I almost put him in the C tier, but I really believe in the potential of this guy. I'm genuinely feeling like he will be B tier by the end of this year. That is my opinion, all right, dude? Next guy to discuss. Now, this fucking hurts, dude. This hurts to put, because again, the D tier does not mean that you're bad. Like, it's just comparing to these other guys. Where do I put you? I'm putting Jake Matthews in the D tier, bro. Nothing hurts a man more than giving up on the Jake Matthews title run, but I think that's where I'm at right now. And dude, I like Jake Matthews. I like his style. I think his boxing is really good. I think he got fucked over in the Neil Magny fight. Like, he deserved to win that fight in the first round. The referee did stop that fight and then played it off, and then boom, you get cockroached by Neil Magny. And listen, bro, there's nothing wrong with getting fluked by Neil Magny. He's the king of the cockroaches for a reason. But I think that type of fight and that loss and some of the losses that Jake Matthews have, I just do not think in this competitive ass welterweight division, this guy is going to be a consistent staple of the top 15. I think he could maybe beat like a D-Rod or a Kevin Holland on a bad day. But I feel like every time Jake Matthews gets to that level of guy, he loses. And then he goes on a win streak and I'm like, bro, he's fucking back. And then he loses that type of fight again. So right now, where do I have to put him? I have to put him in the D tier. I'm sorry. It is what it is, you know. It is, adversity is a privilege, and, you know, maybe you bounce back in your next fight, you know. Next guy to discuss, this is one of the best prospects that debuted in 2025 in a very shallow division as well, where I believe he can go on a very quick run to the rankings, maybe to a top 10 spot. And I think based on what we've seen, this guy is fucking really good. And I think he has a lot of potential as a prospect, especially based on the division he's in. I'm going to put Brando Peric in the B tier. I think that maybe that's a bit of a big jump. I wouldn't be mad at maybe throwing him down in the C tier, but I'm going to be real. I know they're never going to fight each other. I think he would beat Tai Tuivasa right now. I think he would finish Tai Tuivasa right now. I think Brando Peric actually has the potential to be a top 10 heavyweight, bro. Like, it's not that hard to do. And I think he has the skill set to make it look like that. Like, I think he has the skill set to take down some of these guys at in the top 10, beat them up with ground and pound. He's got nasty striking as well, trains with a very good team. Been killing on the regional scene for a very long time over here in Australia and in New Zealand. I think Brando Peric has a lot of potential as a heavyweight. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I think this is kind of like a prove it deal type of thing. Same with Tom Nolan. Right now, can you look at their resume and put them in the same category as these guys next to them in B tier? No. But I think they have all the potential and all the tools to get to that level right now this year. So that's why I'm going to be putting Brando Peric, the fucking Balkan Bear, mate, in the bloody B tier. All right. Now, this next guy, he's a legend of the Australian-New Zealand MMA game. He has fallen off a little bit, but he's very similar to Bobby Knuckles in my opinion. I think Izzy still beats a lot of middleweights, dude. I think it's easy right now in the storm of Izzy being washed to feel like, dude, I don't know, I might pick Joe Pyfer to beat him. You know what I mean? Like that, it's easy to get into that mode, bro, because I've been there, dude. I remember when Volk lost to Ilya and Islam and he had the KOs and he was just sitting on, you know, I'm looking to come back against Ilya in a rematch, you know? I was like, dude, this guy's going to get chinned by Ilya and then he's going to get fluked by like fucking, like Ayman Zahabi. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time where I would have been like, bro, I don't know if I can pick Volk to beat Aljo right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not to that extreme. That's kind of an extreme example, but you get what I'm saying, right? When your favorite fighters start to drop off, you start to get worried. Oh my God, is this dude going to go on a Tony Ferguson downfall? I don't think Izzy's going on a Tony Ferguson downfall, dude. I think he's going to get a good matchup in his next fight. I think he's going to get someone that he can defend their takedowns and outstrike them without this big power threat of a Nasruddin Imavov, or someone that's not as accurate as a Nasruddin Imavov, maybe somebody that seems to hit harder, like a Robocop, like a Joe Pyfer, except nowhere near the technical striker of Nasruddin Imavov, nowhere near the wrestler of Nasruddin Imavov, as we've seen in his past recent fights. And I think Izzy has great takedown defense. His defense is, you know, in the boxing it's kind of sus, but, you know, leg kick defense is fucking immaculate. Head movement's really good. Footwork is fucking elite of the elite. The feint game as well to open up striking opportunities. The way that he kind of steps off on weird angles to snipe people. I think that Izzy still has a lot of things that he can use against these bum, like, blockhead middleweights. I think Izzy and Whittaker in the same boat. Like, they're going to be ranked number 5 and 6 and around that spot. They're going to fraud check a bunch of randoms coming up the division, but I don't think they beat the, you know, Anthony Hernandez's, the Rainier Doritas, unfortunately, you know, the Imavovs, those guys, the Chimaev, you know what I mean? I don't think they beat those guys, and I think Strickland is the least washed out of these three. I think Strickland beats both these guys. I think Strickland versus Adesanya and Whittaker, both of those are close fights, but I think Strickland would win a 5-round decision against both those guys, just based on how, you know, his skill set matches up with them. But it's close. It's close. And that's my point. That's why I think Izzy is also A tier, just like Whittaker. All right, man. Let's move on to a couple of prospects in the UFC, and one of them that I think he gets a lot of hype, and I do like this guy. I'm a fan of this guy. I follow him on social media. We're going to be putting White Izzy, Navajo Stirling, in the C tier. I think Navajo Stirling has all the potential to be like Carlos Ulberg 2.0. He is literally White Adesanya. He fights very similar to Izzy. Physically, the way that he moves around. He has really good takedown defense. I think his offensive grappling is better than Izzy's ever was coming into the UFC. I think that's a wrinkle to his game that he has that some of these other CKB guys have not come in with. But he doesn't have the finishing power, bro. Like, he's not finishing people. He drops them occasionally. He will rock them time to time, but he's a point fighter. He's going to win by decision, and I think eventually you're going to find light heavyweights that will tank that shit and get to you and have the skills to land big shots and potentially fraud check him this year. I feel like if he gets the wrong matchup too early, he will lose and maybe get backed up to the fence and KO'd, similar to Carlos Ulberg against Kennedy and Zechku. Like, I could really see something like that fight happening to Navajo Stirling. So right now, I'm going to put him in the C tier. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's really good for how young he is, and he's undefeated in the UFC. He's got some decent wins, but not as impressively as some other prospects would beat those same guys. So for me, I think that all of that lined up, you have to put him in the C tier. I know some people would put him in the B tier, but like, oh nah, G, you gotta put Sterling in the A tier, G. Yeah, he's mean as G. But for me, I'm putting this brother in the C tier. All right, man. Now this next one, this was hard to not put him in the S tier, dude. I was really fighting to, like, dude, do I just throw this guy in the S tier and just ruin the credibility of the video because I'm a big fan of this dude? I'm going to be objective. Quieten Southfield, B tier. He will be ranked this year. He's borderline A tier. I think he's super well-rounded. He's super dangerous. He has the skill set to finish people in the grappling, in the striking, bro, in the wrestling as well. Bro. The thing with these other lightweights, bro, they suck. They're not on his level, bro, literally. Quieten Southfield, like, what else needs to be said? This dude's a superstar in the making. Nasty KO finishes. Underrated grappling game. I think his jiu-jitsu and his submission game will start to show as he faces more elite strikers where he needs to mix up his grappling. He has a lot of submissions on his record, and I think a lot of people consider him just a pure striker because of what he's done in the UFC. But if you know the Yanal Eshmuz fight, if you know some of his regional fights, you know that this guy has a nasty rear naked choke. If he's on bottom, he can throw up submissions and scramble. If he's on top, he's very likely to get a submission. So I think Quieten Southfield's really fucking good. He's borderline A tier, but I'm going to put him in that same category of Tom Nolan, where I think he has all the skills and he will be ranked in that top 15. I think Tom Nolan will be ranked like number 15, number 14. And I think Quieten Southfield could genuinely be in the top 10, maybe the fucking top 8 if he gets the right matchups and the right push from the UFC. So both of those guys, I think, have a very bright future in the UFC lightweight division. Let's move on to my next fighter to discuss. And this one hurts, bro, because I like this dude a lot. And he follows me on Instagram. And I'm a big fan of him. But I have to be objective. I have to put Colby Slickness Thickness in the D tier, bro. And I want him to prove me wrong, dude. I want Colby Thickness to go on the title run this year. Because I picked this dude to beat Alexandre Topuria. It didn't happen. You know, the judges robbed us. No, I'm just kidding. But, like, the thing with Colby Thickness, right? This is my analysis, dude. Colby Thickness is a very high-level grappler. He is really fucking dangerous on the ground. You're not going to out-scramble him. You're not going to out-grapple him unless you are the caliber of an Alexandre Topuria that trains with Ilya every day, all day. That's not a bad loss at all. And I think that loss is actually going to age really well for Colby Thickness going forward. I think Alexandre Topuria will get ranked in the bantamweight division. I think that he has just the complete skill set of a guy that could be in the top 10. So for Colby Thickness to lose to him on short notice and put up, you know, a valiant performance, I guess we'll say that. Like, he had some fun moments trying to make something happen, but just didn't really have an answer for Topuria. It's not bad. But Josias Musashi, you're going life and death. I know he has big power, but he has zero grappling whatsoever. And he does just swing for the fences. And he lost to Carlos Vera by submission. So I think that Colby Thickness, yes, he is extremely tough. He's a cockroach maxer. We love that on the channel. I'm a big fan of the cockroach game. Very good grappling. Great fight IQ. Trains with Volk. Been training with Volk for his whole life. He has great coaching, great game planning, great experience in the game already. He has experience being rocked and coming back and winning, and I think that is actually a good thing as you fight in the UFC, as opposed to someone that's just crushing cans and no problem at all. But I think Colby Thickness' striking is just not up to par at all, dude. Like, he does just jump around like he's been struck by lightning, or like he's on a roof that's fucking melting hot or something. You know, when you get off the beach and the concrete's like boiling hot and you're kind of like, That's how this dude's moving on the feet. Like, I'm sorry, bro, but I have to put Colby Thickness in the D tier. I think if he racks up a couple of wins, I would probably put him in the C tier. But as it stands right now, I'm sorry, little one. I have to do this. I have to put you in the D tier. All right, man. Let's move on to another bantamweight prospect from Australia. This guy flies under the radar so hard, and I'm so mad that injuries have been holding back his career, because I really believe, skill for skill, he's such a good prospect. Dude, Cody Haddon's going B tier, bro. And I know it's Glaze. He only has one fight in the UFC. I know that, dude. But you got to understand, he would have beat fucking Malcolm Wellmaker. I prophesized the Malcolm Wellmaker fraud check at UFC 322. I prophesized that Malcolm Wellmaker would go in there with somebody that knows how to jab, that knows how to box, that knows how to fucking strike, that can mix in grappling if they need to. And Cody Haddon has all of those skills. Cody Haddon has all of the wins of fucking Ethan Ewing on the regional scene. He has them. He beat Billy Brand on Contender Series by dominant submission. He beat Dan Argueta coming into the UFC. Not a bad win at all. Very crafty striker. Great grappling. Great fight IQ. Solid fundamentals. Trains with Quieten Southfield. I think Cody Haddon's going to have a breakout year in 2026 if injuries do not affect his career. That is literally the only thing holding this dude back, is the constant injuries happening. Because I think skill for skill, he is very similar to Quieten Southfield, and he's that good. So I hope that Cody Haddon gets to fight more this year, because I think this take will age well of Cody Haddon being a B tier. I think he has solid B tier potential, and I'm gonna throw him in the B tier. I'm gonna give this kid a chance, dude. All right, man. Let's move on to another very important addition that recently debuted in the UFC, and this is a guy I like, dude. I think I see big things coming for this guy, but I have to be objective. I'm gonna put me in the C tier. I'm gonna put Isaac Bedtime MMA Thompson in the C tier. This guy trains in America. He's lived in America for a long time. He's originally from Australia, and he reminds me of two people. I know a lot of people were tagging me, yo, Bedtime, sorry about the loss to Joannis and Brito. I'm all good, guys. I really appreciate you reaching out. We took the fight on short notice, but this kid reminds me of Diego Lopez, and he reminds me of fucking JDM, because Joannis and Brito has a win over Diego Lopez as well. And Diego Lopez debuted on short notice and lost, and had a competitive back and forth fight that he could have won, but then he slowed down a little bit, got out grappled. I really think Isaac Thompson showed a lot of good things in that fight against Joannis and Brito on extremely short notice against a dangerous finisher at featherweight that a couple of years ago, people were like, dude, this guy's the next one up, me included. And he also reminds me of JDM because he's just scrappy. He's scrambly. He mixes things up well. They were calling for the JDM takedown in the corner. That's how influential my GOAT JDM is. Bro's inventing his own moves now. But I think Isaac Thompson has a lot of potential coming into 2026. I think right now he's in that same unproven boat where I need to see more out of him. But from what I saw in his debut, I think he has the type of skill set to take him pretty far in the featherweight division. And I like that he lives and trains in America as well. I think that's going to be a good thing for his wrestling and his grappling going forward. Training with those type of guys, dude. All right. Next one to add on. This is another Bedtime clone. We're going to be throwing myself, Jack Jenkins in the D tier. I'm a fan of Jack Jenkins, man. You guys know this. Like I said, if it was not objective, every single dude would be in the S tier right now. But Jack Jenkins, he's a small featherweight. He has good kickboxing, really hard leg kicks, good chin, solid counter grappling, but he does get taken down. He does get controlled. And I just don't think he'll be ranked in the top 15 at featherweight. Like, I think that Isaac Thompson, in that debut against a guy like Joannis and Brito, showed a lot of really good things to look forward to as a top-ranked guy. Jack Jenkins, like, I have to just say this like it is, has had easy matchups in the UFC aside from Chepe Mariscal and Gabriel Santos, and he lost those fights. You got Raymond Tavares coming up from bantamweight up to fight you at featherweight in your home, of Perth. That is a layup. You know what I mean? Your debut is Don Shainis, and you take him to a decision. That's a layup. So Jack Jenkins, skill-wise and technically-wise, is a really good fighter, and I enjoy watching him fight. I'm a big fan of him, but I'm not super moved by the wins that he has. The win that he got recently over Raymond Tavares. It's not that crazy. Like, he performed well, but it's Raymond Tavares, a little fucking bantamweight that can only box, that has no grappling at all. Like, that's your win of the year. So right now, I have to just put Jack Jenkins in the D tier. I hope that he continues winning, because again, I am a fan of him, dude. I do like Jack Jenkins, okay? But this is my objective, honest rankings, all right? Next guy we're going to throw in here, we're going to throw Cam Rowston in the C tier. I did kind of doubt this guy. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was going to come in and be kind of a D tier jabroni in the middleweight division, considering the fact that he lost to Torres Finney on the Contender Series, but he's proved me wrong, man. He got a really nasty KO over Andre Petroski, so that's a pretty decent win. I mean, I rate that decently well coming in. Petroski is kind of chinny, but I mean, Edmund Shablazian took him to a decision. Cam Rowston absolutely destroyed him. So Cam Rowston, I think he has potential. He trains with CKB, good takedown defense. We're going to throw him in the C tier, man. All right, next guy on the list, we got Jamie Mullarkey. Not me, by the way. I'm so glad Isaac Thompson is here. That is the definitive unranked Australian dude that I look like. Let's just get that fucking straight. But Jamie Mullarkey, I mean, this guy's a fucking Aussie battler, mate. He's been in there fucking scrapping for a long time, mate. He's been in the game for a long time. We love Jamie Mullarkey. he's an Apex legend. Like, that's what it is. No disrespect to the man. He's an Apex warrior. You're never going to see Jamie Mullarkey on the main card of a pay-per-view. Jamie Mullarkey is here to fraud check unranked lightweights and have competitive fun scraps with guys like Michael Johnson and Bobby Green and, those type of guys. I don't know if he beats that level of guy, but he has competitive fights with them. I think he got robbed against Michael Johnson, to be honest. I think he lost that fight, or he might have just squeaked out that win. That was a very competitive fight. That's probably the biggest fight of his career, besides fighting Volk on the regional scene. But yeah, Jamie Mullarkey, he's solid, dude. He's just there. He's just there. He's a solid hand. He's cool to have in the lightweight division. There's not much else to say, all right, man? Next guy to talk about. I am excited about this guy being in the UFC, and I think he can go far. I'm going to put Marwan Rahiki in the C tier, man. I'm really sad that he's not getting to debut at UFC 325, which Dana White did promise him. The fight was promised to him 3,000. He didn't get the fucking fight at 325, but Marwan Rahiki is super cool, man. I like the way that he fights. On the regional scene, he was just putting fucking belt to ass, dude. Very clean striker, good elbows, good long-range striking, kind of models himself after an Adesanya type of guy. His grappling is a little bit of a weakness. Go figure. That seems to be a running theme with our fucking country. But he's solid, dude. He's really technical. I like the way that he fights. He's a big finisher on the feet. He's exciting. I think a lot of fans are going to get behind this dude if he has a banger debut. It's all about how they matchmake him. I think skill for skill, he has the potential to go far in the featherweight division. Same with his training partner, George Mangos, bro. He's another guy on Contender Series that I think got a fucking rough matchup and just got blobbed. But when it comes to pure striking, he is an elite level guy that belongs in the UFC. So I think that if he gets the right matchups and he gets the, right improvements happening with his grappling and all that type of stuff, I think he's a more dynamic finisher and a more dynamic striker than a lot of guys in the featherweight division. He's long, he's lanky, he's skillful. I think he has a lot of potential, dude. All right, man. And his Contender Series fight was a fucking banger. If you haven't seen this fight, go watch his Contender Series fight. It's a fucking heater, dude. Crazy debut. All right, man. We're going to speed run a couple of these guys, and then we'll talk about bloody Volk. Jonathan Mikhailov, I'm going to put him in the C tier. He trains with Whittaker and Jimmy Crute and all that sometimes. I thought he was going to get absolutely fraud checked by Kevin Jousset. His striking is not good, but it is. He has really hard kicks. He has very good takedown defense and grappling. He has some good submissions off his back. I think he will beat Oban Elliott, and I think that's kind of the level that Mikhailov is. So I'll put him in the C tier. I think he's pretty decent. Stuart Nickel, this is a guy that I've seen fight in real life. He's had some fucking terrible matchups in the UFC. I have to put him in the D tier because he's 0-2. But Jesus Aguilar, scary debut. Didn't have to go through Contender Series. He just got thrown straight on a pay-per-view against Jesus Aguilar. Was doing well. Ended up in a guillotine. Got choked out cold. It is what it is, bro. And then lost to Lucas Rocha recently in Brazil. So he's had some tough fucking matchups, dude. I think he is skillful. He's a good wrestler. He's a strong fucking dude. I've heard from all the people that train with him that I know. Solid striking as well, but just had some really rough matchups. I think he needs to change things up a little bit in terms of going more to the offensive grappling. Because I think that is, his best skill, but I think also it's been used against him in a couple of fights and made him slow down against Rocha. So I think Stuart Nickel, he can make some improvements, but right now I have to put him in the D tier. Next guy that we've got, mate, bloody Jacob Malkoun, mate. This guy's one of the most I'm not bullshitting. This guy's actually an underrated middleweight, bro. This guy had a split decision loss to Brendan Allen not that long ago. He got fluked by Phil Hawes, but then he had a very close fight with Brendan Allen. I thought he got robbed against Brendan Allen. I'm not going to hold you. I actually feel like he beat Brendan Allen. He beat Andre Petroski with a hip strike, and he beat the fuck out of Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage fluked a no contest, a DQ, excuse me. So Jacob Malkoun has had some weird fights in the UFC, but he actually is very decent. He trains with Robert Whittaker. He's his main training partner. He's a really high-level grappler. Not as good on the feet as Robert Whittaker, obviously, but a very, very good grappler. I think he's underrated, dude. I think he's a solid C tier. All right, man? Next two guys on the list, we got Brad Riddell. Very clean striker. I just think he's past his prime. He's a super good striker. Good takedown defense as well for the most part. Trains with Volk and all those guys out in Thailand and stuff like that. So he's been around the block, dude. He's had some fun fights in the UFC. He's had some tough fights. He was ranked at one point. But I think right now, he'll probably come back after a super long layoff, get a fucking terrible nightmare matchup, like a Jalen Turner rematch. No, not Jalen Turner rematch, but something like that will give him something fucked. I think that's my prediction for Brad Riddell. He's really good, but I think he's a bit past his prime. A little bit small for lightweight as well, so I'll put him in the D tier. And I'm also going to throw Khan Offley in the D tier, bro. All right, Khan Offley. I see the comments. Maybe he's not going to win the flyweight belt this year, guys, but Khan Offley, he's solid, dude. He's got good grappling. He's the same boat as Jack Jenkins. Like, he has decent wins, but nothing that I can objectively be like, no, you know what? This guy's C tier. He's really solid. I think he's a decent featherweight. I think both those guys will stick around in the UFC for a little bit, win some, lose some, beat some decent guys, lose to some decent guys. Nothing, where I'm like, this guy sucks. But if I have to be objective, I'm putting Khan Offley in the D tier. And there is one man left to discuss, mate. Volk's obviously fucking S tier. You knew this. If you've skipped here to see my rankings, you know that Volk is in the S tier. I think right now the two best Australian fighters are obviously Volk and JDM. I think Volk is nearing retirement, but he still has a lot of his gifts as a fighter. His fight IQ is fucking bar none. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time in terms of strategy, game planning, making reads, fighting smartly, you know what I mean? All that type of stuff. Solid defense despite the fact that his chin has been damaged a lot in a couple of recent fights. Impossible to submit, insane takedown defense, damage really good at inflicting damage. This is one take of Lucas that I really agree with, is that Volk is like super underrated in the category of damage and people that hit hard, because he doesn't have one-shot KOs, but every single person that Volk beats, they look like they've been put through a fucking blender. So Volkanovski still got it. I think he beats Lopez in the rematch. I think he's going to grapple more in this rematch and beat the fuck out of him. But I'll talk more about that in the future when that fight comes up. But this is my official ranking, unbiased, of every single Aussie and New Zealand fighter in the UFC right now. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. I can't wait to see someone feel very strongly about my ranking of fucking Jonathan Mikhailov or something like that. There's always one dude that's crashing out. Bro, what are you saying, bro? This casual put fucking Jack Jenkins in the DJ, bro. This guy's casual, bro. But let me know your opinions, man. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.